First, I think the Ukraine-Russia tensions.
Putin made some sort of statement saying that he was going to pull back troops from the border. Well, that clearly led to, the big pop that we saw early this morning in pre-market, and that's kind of sustained throughout the day. So, markets clearly still have jitters, and it can, easily turn around in a really negative way.
I mean, hopefully it's the last time we talk about Russia, Ukraine. Hopefully this thing cools off. There's this theory of the supply chain and inventory convexity, unevenness from the COVID disruptions kind of being the main catalyst for inflation.
Seemed to me that you had a lot of backing off of buying, at least for certain goods during the pandemic, and then kind of a rush in the last 6 to 12 months of buying a lot more of those goods, or at least ordering them. And the supply chain clearly is overwhelmed. What you've also seen is like a huge decrease in the velocity of money.
Thomas Sowell had a good quote I retweeted not long ago, but inflation generally is a really unfair tax for the lower class. And then Tesla marketing and the Super Bowl, I really do think all those TV commercials help Tesla. When you're buying a $30,000 or $40,000 car, you're not going to just buy it based on the commercial only. You're going to research it beyond that. Invariably, in my mind, that's going to lead them to Teslas. Not only because it's the best product, but also it's the only thing that has enough supply to sell. Like all these other car companies, they don't even have a product they can sell anytime soon.
Clearly, they have by far the largest market share, at least here in the United States. I would imagine these long lead times that we're already seeing are probably going to stretch out even further, despite the fact that you got all this capacity coming online.
Elon has said, we want all the batteries anyone can make. Trust us. We want everything anyone can make. Just give it to us. Well, is that a scenario 5 years from now? We look back and Tesla's selling 80% of EVs in the US and pretty much everywhere in the world except for China and maybe a couple places Chinese exports can go to.
Tesla trying to leapfrog itself.
Just innovating faster than anyone can even copy their old stuff. Yeah.
So even if these companies are really successful at making the investments and building out the all the infrastructure for the batteries and everything like that, I don't know how they compete on cost. If Tesla's doing 4680s and structural battery packs and just cutting costs viciously as they've been doing for a decade now, I don't think other companies have the DNA to pull those sorts of things off, which gets to the ultimate kind of competitiveness of a Tesla compared to the other. Tesla can price the vehicles well and still maintain good margins and maintain more demand than their supply can meet. And none of the other companies have that profitability within their EVs and demand at a certain price point.
What if they do have that 5-year lead with full self-driving? That's just going to be game over, really.
That changes the economics of everything. You can't compete if you can sell a $40,000 Tesla with full self-driving. Now, obviously, they'd price it higher than that. If you can 5x the utility of a vehicle, then I think that is game over for everyone else.
It's so hard for us all to wrap our head around the immense advantage Tesla has. What were your thoughts on the Starship presentation?
I was a little bit surprised, honestly, that there was not very much new info. So a lot of it was, just kind of why do we need to do this and how important is it to have a fully reusable and rapidly reusable vehicle. It seemed like the majority of the presentation was kind of around, stuff that wasn't necessarily new info. But I did really like some of the details on the Raptor. Looks like they made significant progress on that. The Raptor 2 looked drastically simpler. I don't think the goal should be to try to build conviction. In my mind, you want to seek the truth. For Tesla, I was a big fan of Tesla for a long time. I actually applied to work there in 2009. But after the IPO, I could never get my head wrapped around the valuation. I was curious just because I like the company and the mission. And I tried to just say, okay, what do I realistically think is going to happen? Then in 2017, I said, okay, actually, I see the upside here. And then, I was sensing a huge disconnect between what the market was saying and what, commentators were saying and what the company was actually likely to do. I think it's the Chinese. I could see, NIO being a significant long-term competitor.